The well kicked at 3 in the morning. The pit alarms went off, the returns came up hard, gas climbing on the monitors, and the whole floor moved at once. And I got it shut in, and we held it. No blowout. No fire. Everybody on that rig went back to their bunks alive because the well got controlled. And a week later, in a room on shore, they told me I was the one who caused it. I was the driller on that tour. My hands were on the brake when that well kicked, and now a serious well control event had my name on it, and everyone in that investigation had already decided the shape of the answer. The driller was on the controls. The driller missed the signs. My hands were on the brake, so it was my hands that let the well get away. 20 years I worked drilling rigs. 20 years, and I never let a well get away from me, because respecting the well is the entire job. A driller who watches his returns and shuts in when the well talks to him is a driller who doesn't put a rig full of people on top of a fire. I was the one they put on the tough hole sections because I did not get pushed and I did not drill past what the well was telling me. Careful. That was the whole thing I sold. Careful was the only thing I ever sold. And in the time it took a well to kick, I was the driller who nearly caused a blowout. I want to tell you about the man who put me there. His name was Raidmaker, and he was the company man, the operator's drilling supervisor on that rig. The company man runs the well. The operator's money is his money to spend, and the days on that well were his to answer for, and that well was behind. And in the hours before that kick, the well was talking. The returns were creeping up. There was gas on the mudlogger's monitors. The signs you stop for, the signs that say flow check this well before you drill another foot, they were there, and they were building. And I called it. I said we needed to stop and flow check. And Raidmaker told me the well was fine and the schedule couldn't take it, and he ordered us to keep drilling ahead. Through the signs. On his authority as the company man, with his name on the well plan, he told us to drill ahead. So we drilled ahead. And the well did what a well does when you drill it past the point it's been warning you about. It kicked. And I shut it in the way you're trained to, fast, by the book, and we held it and killed it, and nobody died. But it was a well control event now, a reportable one, with the operator's name and the regulator's name all over it. And the second it was over, Raidmaker's story was already made. He didn't tell them he'd ordered the crew to drill ahead through the kick indicators to save days. He told the operator, and then he told the regulator, that the driller missed the warning signs and was slow to shut the well in. He pointed at the brake. At me. Here is what that costs a driller. It is not just the job. That well control certification, the ticket that lets me sit the brake at all, a finding that I caused a well control event by missing the indicators ends that ticket, and in this business a driller with a near blowout on his name does not get hired onto anybody's rig again. 20 years, and the drill floor is the only place I've ever worked. And a well control event is the kind of thing that, if it had gone worse, puts a man in front of a lot more than an investigation. I flew home on the crew change a 43-year-old man who'd been told he might never work a rig again, for an order I'd argued against on that floor. I've got a family onshore that I do all of this for. I told my wife something bad almost happened offshore, and somebody said it was my fault, and that I was going to prove whose order kept us drilling. I said it out loud, so I'd have to go do it. The young mudlogger had seen the gas building same as I had. He'd watched me call for the flow check and heard Raidmaker order us ahead. But he was a contractor, young, and crossing a company man is how a young hand never gets called back out, and I wasn't going to hang a scared kid's future against a company man's as my whole defense. This wasn't going to get fixed by whose story the operator wanted to believe. It was going to get fixed by the one thing on that rig that records every foot and every reading and doesn't care who the company man is. Because here is what Raidmaker forgot, the way these people always forget the one thing. That rig records everything, in real time, all the time. There's a drilling data recorder, the rig's own data system, logging every parameter, second by second. Flow in and flow out. Pit volume. Gas readings. Rate of penetration. Standpipe pressure. And the mudlogger system keeps its own record of the gas shows and the returns. And the shut-in, when it came, was logged on my controls to the second. The rig does not care about the days on the well, and it does not care that Raidmaker is the company man. It just writes down what the well did and what we did about it. So through the well control investigation, and with me pushing for the data, we pulled all of it. The real-time drilling data. The mudlog. The shut-in record. And we put them on one timeline, the hour before that kick, laid out foot by foot. The data showed the kick indicators building well before the well kicked, the flow out rising, the pit volume climbing, the gas increasing, exactly the signs you stop for. It showed me calling for a flow check and to stop. The tour notes and the data tied the instruction to keep drilling ahead to Raidmaker. And when the well kicked, the record showed my shut-in was fast and by procedure, textbook. The rig had watched that whole tour. And the rig said the indicators were there. The driller called to stop, and the company man ordered the crew to drill ahead. They held the well control review in a conference room on shore. The operator's drilling manager was there. The regulator's investigator was there. Raidmaker was there, in clean coveralls, still sure that a company man's word beats a driller's, the way it usually does. My rep put the real-time drilling data and the mudlog up together, and we didn't argue. We walked the hour. The building indicators. My call to stop and flow check. Raidmaker's order to drill ahead in the notes. And my shut-in, fast, by the book, when the well finally kicked. The regulator's investigator asked Raidmaker one question. He asked him who ordered the crew to keep drilling ahead after the flow check was called. Raidmaker didn't have an answer because it was in the rig's own data and the tour notes. The mudlogger, hearing the data back him up, said out loud that the gas was building and the company man ordered us ahead. And I watched it land on Raidmaker in front of the drilling manager and the regulator. The moment he understood that the rig had been recording the whole time, and the recorder doesn't feel the schedule and doesn't care who's the company man. They cleared me completely. My certification was never really in danger once the drilling data was in front of the regulator. The record had me calling to stop and shutting in by the book. I went back offshore, back on the break, with the back pay, and a finding on the record that the driller acted correctly and the well control event was caused by an instruction to drill ahead through the indicators. The operator reinforced the thing that matters most out there, stop work authority, and a driller's right to shut down and flow check when the well talks, no matter who's pushing the days. The young mudlogger kept getting called back out. I made sure his name stayed clean. And Raidmaker was pulled off the rig, faced the regulator's action, and answered for the order he'd tried to hang on me. The same ticket pulling machine he'd reached to feed me into. I still work the floor. Still take the tough hole, still watch my returns like scripture, still call to stop and flow check the second the well starts talking, no matter who's standing behind me counting days. And sometimes on a quiet tour, the well drilling ahead clean and the pits sitting flat, I think about how the whole time they were calling me the driller who nearly caused a blowout. The thing that was going to save me was the rig itself, recording every foot, keeping the record right there under my hands. I built 20 years on respecting the well. It turned out the rig had been keeping that record right alongside me the whole time.